Daniel Harris's world came crashing down when he heard the muffled sobs coming from his daughter's room. He never imagined he would walk in and see what he saw. At first, his mind raced with terror. Could the maid, Olivia Reed, be poisoning his daughter? He was ready to confront her, but the truth that the hospital later uncovered would shatter everything he believed. The one thing his fortune couldn't protect, his child's life, was now at risk. Before we get into it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a story that will stay with you long after it ends. When Daniel entered the room, his heart stopped. Ava, his young daughter, lay lifeless in her bed, her tiny chest barely moving. And there, crouched by her side, was Olivia, holding a bottle of pills, her hands shaking uncontrollably. "What are you doing to my daughter?" Daniel's voice cracked the silence like a thunderclap. Olivia whipped around, eyes wide, tears streaming down her face. "No, please, it's not what you think." But to Daniel, it looked exactly like his worst fear unfolding before his eyes. Ava's small, pale body. The maid, crying, clutching a bottle of medicine she shouldn't have been anywhere near. Daniel stormed forward, gripping Olivia's wrist so tightly that the bottle almost slipped from her grasp. "Tell me, what were you going to give her?" His voice was sharp, full of rage and panic. "I wasn't." Olivia's voice trembled as she tried to explain. "I wasn't trying to hurt her. Sir, please just listen." He wasn't hearing it. "You're standing here, weeping over my daughter's bed, holding drugs in your hand, and you want me to believe you weren't trying to poison her?" Daniel's words were a roar. Olivia's face crumpled as she lowered her gaze, her voice soft and fearful. "Poison her? No, sir, I would never. I was only trying to help. Ava, she hasn't been well. You didn't hear her last night?" Ava's coughing filled the room, the sound ragged and desperate. Daniel's jaw tightened, his eyes locked on his daughter, her flushed cheeks, damp curls clinging to her forehead. She looked frail, weaker than usual, but the sight of Olivia holding the medicine still twisted his gut. "Why didn't you come to me? Why didn't you call the doctor?" he demanded, his voice sharp. Olivia clutched the bottle tighter, her voice barely audible. "I did try, but you were always gone. Meetings, dinners, phone calls. You're never here. And when you are, you don't see it. You don't hear her cries." Her words pierced him like a knife. For a moment he wanted to snap back. But something stopped him. Truth. "I couldn't just watch." Olivia's voice trembled. "Not again. Not after losing my own little girl." She choked on the words, her body trembling with grief as if reliving the pain. Daniel blinked, his breath catching. "Your own girl?" Olivia's tear-streaked face lifted. She was only 5, the same age as Ava now. She caught pneumonia. We didn't have the money for proper care, not in time. I watched her fade away in my arms. Do you know what it feels like for a mother to bury a child who still needed lullabies? Daniel's chest tightened, his anger giving way to a cold, heavy dread. Slowly he loosened his grip on her wrist. "I swore that day," Olivia whispered, her voice breaking, "I would never let another child slip away if I could help it." When Ava started coughing, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't breathe without hearing my baby's last gasp in my ears. So yes, I held the medicine. Yes, I cried, but only because I'm terrified of losing her the way I lost mine. For a long moment, the room was silent, save for the faint, uneven breaths of Ava. Daniel looked at Olivia, no longer seeing a maid, but a grieving mother. The bottle of pills didn't look so menacing now, it looked like desperation. His pride fought back, but it wasn't enough to silence the guilt. "You should have told me," he muttered, his voice softer now but still tinged with authority. Olivia shook her head, her words quick and urgent. "I did. I left notes on your desk, told the head housekeeper, begged the driver to remind you, but nothing reached you. You're too far away, sir. Too far above us to hear." A flush of shame burned across Daniel's face, but he tried to hide it. And what if you were wrong? What if giving her medicine without a doctor's approval harmed her? Olivia's lips quivered. I didn't give her anything. I couldn't. I just held it because I was scared. I needed to be ready. Do you know what it's like to see a child's chest rise and fall so weakly and wonder if she'll be gone before morning? Daniel swallowed hard, his gaze fixed on Ava's small, fragile body. Her tiny hand twitched against the blanket, a reminder of how easily she could slip away. He whispered under his breath, "And I wasn't here." Olivia's voice softened, cutting deeper than any insult. "No, sir. You weren't." Her honesty stung in a way that words never could. Daniel felt the weight of his absence. The meetings, the flights, the dinners that built his empire but kept him away from the one person who needed him most. And here Olivia wept, not for herself, but for a child who wasn't even hers. The silence dragged on, thick and heavy, until Olivia finally sank into the chair beside Ava. Her fingers brushed lightly over the child's hand. "I would never harm her. I love her as if she were my own." For the first time in years, Daniel's throat tightened, leaving him speechless. He didn't have an answer. Ava stirred, letting out a faint whimper in her sleep. Both of them froze in place. Olivia leaned in closer, her voice a soft whisper. "Show little one you're safe. I promise." And there, in the doorway, stood Daniel Harris, the one who should have been the first to offer those words of comfort. Yet it was Olivia who had been there for his daughter all along. The weight of that realization crushed him. But guilt alone wasn't enough to erase the burning question. If Olivia hadn't been there, what could he have lost tonight? Ava whimpered, her small body shaking with every labored breath. Panic overwhelmed Daniel, breaking through his pride. "Call the doctor," he ordered, but his voice cracked mid-command. "No, don't wait. I'll drive her myself." Olivia was already moving, wrapping the blanket tighter around Ava's fragile form. "She needs the hospital, sir. Not another minute here." He didn't argue. Within moments, the car was speeding down the empty midnight streets, Olivia holding Ava in the back seat, whispering reassurances with each turn and bump. Daniel drove with a frantic urgency, his jaw clenched, eyes constantly flicking to the rearview mirror, where his daughter's tiny body rested against Olivia's chest. At the hospital, nurses rushed them in, machines beeping, monitors flashing, and the hiss of oxygen filling the air as they fitted Ava with a mask. Daniel stood paralyzed by the door, watching his daughter's chest rise and fall in sync with the rhythm of the machine. "She's very weak," the doctor said, pulling Daniel aside. "It's pneumonia. Severe. But you're lucky you brought her in tonight. Any later," the doctor continued, "and it might have been too late." The words hit him like a blow. His knees threatened to buckle. "Pneumonia?" he repeated, his voice hollow. The doctor nodded, his expression grave. "Children don't show how serious things are until it's almost too late. Didn't you see the signs?" Daniel opened his mouth to respond, but no words came. He hadn't noticed. He'd been consumed by calls, meetings, dinners, drowning in his own world while Ava's world turned without him. Through the glass, he watched Olivia sitting by Ava's bed. She held Ava's tiny hand, cradling it between both of hers, rocking slowly as if her warmth alone could fight off the illness. Her face was still streaked with tears, but she didn't let go. Shame twisted inside Daniel's chest. "It wasn't me who noticed," he confessed, his voice rough. Time passed. The night faded into the pale light of dawn. Slowly, Ava's breathing steadied. The mask no longer fogged so urgently. Her cheeks regained a faint hint of color. Daniel sat at her bedside, stiff and exhausted, his eyes red from hours without sleep. When Ava stirred and opened her eyes, her first words weren't for him. "Olivia," she whispered weakly, reaching out. Olivia leaned in, brushing a curl from Ava's forehead. "I'm here, sweetheart. You're safe." The sting in Daniel's chest was sharp. His own daughter sought comfort from the woman he had nearly accused. As Ava drifted back to sleep, Daniel finally spoke, his voice soft. "You saved her." Olivia shook her head. "The hospital saved her. The doctor saved her. You noticed, Daniel interrupted. You acted when I didn't. That's the truth. She looked at him for a long moment, her eyes tired but unwavering. Sir, money can buy almost anything, but it can't buy back lost time. Children need someone who truly sees them, someone who listens, someone who won't look away. If you don't, someone else will. But it should have been you. Her words, soft but piercing, cut deeper than any anger could. Daniel's head dropped, his shame undeniable. By morning, the doctors assured him Ava was out of immediate danger, though the road to recovery would take time. Daniel signed every form, approved every treatment, but it all felt empty. The truth hung heavily in the air. Without Olivia, his daughter might not have seen this new day. When they finally returned home, Ava lay sleeping peacefully in her bed. Daniel stood in the doorway watching her breathe. Olivia adjusted the blanket with gentle hands before stepping back, her face weary but tender. He wanted to speak, apologize, express his gratitude, but the words felt inadequate. So he simply whispered, "Thank you." Olivia nodded, her eyes shimmering. "Just promise me one thing, sir. Be here. Don't let her fight alone again." For the first time in years, Daniel had no reply. He sat down beside Ava, took her small hand in his, and stayed. The house was quiet, but this silence wasn't suffocating. It healed. If you felt moved by this story, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more emotional and dramatic tales. And tell us, where in the world are you watching from? We'd love to hear from all of you. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and keep watching.